Welcome to the Secret Sauce Podcast. This is a show about relationships with staff, with students, with yourself, with building culture in your classroom, your school, your district, and becoming personally developed so that you can be professionally developed. Be sure and follow our podcast so you don't miss a show. And we're booking now for the 23-24 school year for any type of PD that you need, keynotes, seminars, workshops. Just get in touch with me. I would love to come to your school, your district, and share the secret sauce with you. So let's jump right into the next episode. Here we go. Welcome to episode 31. This is Kip Schubert, your host with the Secret Sauce Podcast. And today I'm talking about burnout and how to break that burnout cycle. You know, this week I was having a discussion with my classes, and it was about culture and really the traditional culture of certain peoples versus modernization in our culture and the good and bad with that. And I became increasingly frustrated throughout the day because the kids just weren't engaging the way that I wanted them to. They weren't engaging the way my classes have in years past. And I became really frustrated and thought, man, these kids just aren't with it. They just don't care. They're just not about it. And the more I thought about it and began to reflect on it, it hit me that the reason they weren't as engaged as I wanted them to be is because I haven't been engaged, especially in this second semester, this school year. I felt exhausted. I felt extremely tired. I felt burnt out. I've even gone into my administrators and told them that I hate the way I'm feeling because I just don't even care. And if that's my mindset, if that's my approach to what I'm doing every day in the classroom, and I'm disengaged, and at the heart of what I'm doing, I really don't care, then how can I get frustrated at young people who do the exact same thing? Could they be a little bit disengaged on their own? Sure. Could they be following my lead? Could they be just doing what I've been modeling for them for the last, 3-4 months? And it hit me that, yeah, we feel tired, especially this time of year as we're heading into the home stretch. We feel exhausted with the last couple years of dealing with COVID and then coming out in the political climate and things around education nowadays, especially in my district. It's easy to see why a lot of us feel burnout, exhausted, ready to move on, quit, do something else. I mean, I get it. Those feelings are real, and it's okay to have those feelings. It's okay to feel tired and exhausted and burn out. But what I've been talking about recently on social media and some of the things we're doing there is about how to break out of that burnout cycle, how to break through and find yourself again. And one of the first things that I talk about is getting back to what your core beliefs and values are. And I've really had to take a hard look in the mirror because I'm not practicing what I preach. And the problem, my main issue, isn't with the lack of engagement from kids. It isn't with a school board and district administration who, number one, are not educators and have a political agenda. That's not my issue. My issue is not feeling exhausted and tired and burnt out and like I don't care. My real issue is the person that I'm looking at in the mirror. You know, I always talk about that we get to. We don't have to. And that's a good thing to do every single morning, and I try to do that. I get to go to work and impact kids. I get to breathe today and make a difference. I don't have to. But lately, I haven't been saying I get to, and I haven't been saying I have to. I've been saying, I don't even want to. And so the problem isn't all those external things that's going on around me. The problem is within me. And so one of my core beliefs and values is life is just not about me. That is the turning point for me when I got into recovery from my 25-year battle with alcoholism. That was the key that started my turnaround, when I realized that life was way bigger than just Kip. It was way bigger than just my issues and my problems. It was about what I could do through my story and my experiences and what I was gifted with naturally to impact and help other people. And so I talk about that a lot as far as getting a breakthrough and getting out of that burnout cycle, and a breakthrough for those exhausted educators is getting back to those core values and beliefs and reflecting on those and re-examining those. And are we living out our core beliefs and values? Or are we just wishing that we were? And then we're actually doing the exact opposite. And so I thought about that. And when I'm focused on my kids not being engaged, a really crappy school board who doesn't care really about what's going on in our schools. They've never even been in our schools, really. They care about their political agenda. When we have leadership from the top that aren't educators and they're just about a business model, things that can really wear on you as an educator. It's not about that. If I focus on what's wrong with other people, if I focus on what's wrong with other institutions around me, if I focus on what's wrong in situations and circumstances that I'm in, I'm focused on me. Life becomes all about Kip. And so a simple discussion in my classroom about modern and traditional cultures led me to reflect and find that, yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm exhausted. Yeah, I have been feeling like I just don't even care anymore. But the problem isn't external. The problem has been internal. The problem has been the person I look at when I'm standing in front of a mirror. Because life had become all about me. All about what was wrong with my job situation, all that what was wrong with the district that I'm in, all about the stress I feel with trying to do so many different things, all about me, me, me. And I really had to think, you know what? Kip, life isn't about you. This is way bigger than just you or in some secret sauce or a middle school social studies teacher and a high school soccer coach. This is about the people that are in front of you every single day, the colleagues that are shoulder to shoulder with me every single day, and the influence and the impact that I can have on them. And if I'm just focused on how tired I am, how exhausted I am, how burnt out I feel, what kind of impact and influence do you think I'm having on those that are around me? Those that are my purpose. All those greatest miracles in the world that are out in front of the seats in front of me, on the field in front of me, in the classrooms and in the offices beside me. What kind of impact do you think I'm having on those people and those young people when all I'm focused on is how bad things are? And I've got a couple colleagues who are dear friends of mine, and I love them dearly. And along with me, we've got so caught up in the negative that our mindset, our outlook, the performance in what we do each day has become negative. I mean, my passion is to lead other people and young people to believe and discover that they are the greatest miracle in the world while I'm just loving them. That's my purpose. That's my why. And how can I do that? How can I make that impact? How can I live that why out every single day? If I'm not focused on that anymore, I'm focused on what's going wrong in my situation and in my job situation and in my life around me. Now, again, I'm not talking about positive or positive toxicity or however you say that. I don't have my head in the sand. I'm not dismissing the fact that as educators, we get tired, we get exhausted, and we even feel burnout. And it's okay to feel those things. But we need to have things in place that help us break through that. One of those is re-examining and reflecting on your core values and beliefs. Are you living those out? Or are you just wishing that you were? Having relationships that are positive around you is another one. People that you can go vent to, that you can talk through things with, but they're going to uplift and empower you as you do the same to them and you move forward. I mean, my principle of ongoings has battled through so much personal and professional stuff this year. It's not even funny. Way more than I have. She's been the tip of the spear for our school. Yet, no matter how crappy things are, even when I can go into her and say, man, I hate the way I'm feeling. I just don't even care. She comes back with positive encouragement and uplifts me and empowers me because it's about the people that's in front of those in those seats in front of me that day. She goes, Kip, you do a great job at what you do. You make a difference for kids. Lean into that. And so that relationship reminds me of that. We have to have things like that in place to help us process and move forward and move through the feelings of burnout, the feelings of exhaustion, the feelings of being just tired with what we do. And granted, we could be in bad school situations with bad administrators. You could be an administrator with a bad staff, with a struggling school, with no support from above you. You could be in a district that has a politically charged school board and people in place that they put in place to run the district that are not educators, that are just trying to make a buck and a name for themselves. Education's tough in general, but it's our mindset that really matters. So when you're thinking about how tired and how exhausted and how burnt out you feel, I don't know that the issue lies in everything that's external around us. The issue might very well lie in the person that you see when you look in the mirror. And that's kind of a hard thing to swallow because you want to be able to blame it on everybody else. I do. I don't want to take ownership that I've been a crappy teacher for the last several months because I've been tired and angry and exhausted and focused on everything negative. I don't want to admit that, but I'm admitting it now to you. I've admitted it to myself this past week from a simple discussion about culture in my classroom. My kids weren't disengaged. I was disengaged. So I got to own that. But the good thing about ownership and admitting that we have failed is that it allows us the opportunity to get back up and do better. Because I know what my why is, to lead and to love people, to believe and discover that they are the greatest miracle in the world. And for me to do that, life cannot just be about me. Doesn't mean that I'm not feeling tired, doesn't mean that I'm not feeling exhausted, doesn't mean that there's negative things going on around me or within what I do. But it means I'd never say I don't care. I never say that I have to. I keep saying that I get to. I reflect and stay true to my core values and beliefs. I have people around me in relationships that will uplift and empower me, not enable a pity party or join a pity party with me. And sure, if it's a situation where it's really, really bad for you, you've got to reflect on your core values and beliefs, and that may mean that you've got to make a change so you can continue to impact people the way that you were destined to. Because again, if all we're doing is focusing on how tired and exhausted and burnt out we feel, What kind of impact are we making on those that are most important in what we do? Our staff and our kids. So are you feeling burnout? Maybe. Are you feeling tired and exhausted as we come to the end of the school year? Probably absolutely 100%. But you can break through that feeling of burnout. You can break out of that burnout cycle. Because if all you're saying is, I can't wait till the end of the year, I can't wait for 25 days of school left. I've been saying that. I've been saying I can't wait till the end of the school year for the last several months. And it's a negative mindset. I can't wait for it to be over. When I used to in the past, I didn't want it to end. Because there was a couple of months break where, sure, I needed to recharge, but I wasn't in front of those kids anymore to impact them every day. And I missed it. And now I just can't wait for it to be over. And so I've got to break through and break out of that negative mindset, that burnout cycle that's just all about negativity. And it doesn't mean that it's toxic positivity. I'm not ignoring the fact that I feel those things. I'm not ignoring the fact that you feel those things. What I'm saying is that we have a choice. And we may need to have a tough conversation with ourselves, with the person that we see in the mirror, and remind ourselves that it's just not about us. It's about those people who we're there to serve, who we're there to make a difference for. And we've got to make sure that our mindset, even though that we may be tired and exhausted, is positive and engaged in doing what we do to make a difference. We just got to do the deal. Stay focused on what your core beliefs are. Stay focused on building positive relationships that can uplift and encourage you when you're falling down. They'll help you back up. And break out of those negative mindsets that leave us in that burnout cycle year after year. And start creating positive mindsets and cycles so that when you feel those feelings, sit in them, process them, and then work your way through them. Because we've got to break out of the burnout. We've got to break out of the tiredness. We've got to break out of the exhaustion because kids depend upon us. If it's gotten to where you don't think you can do it anymore, quit. Because you're not making a difference for kids. That's tough. Have the tough conversation with yourself. I know I did. And let's continue to build relationships. Let's continue to empower staff and students to become that greatest miracle in the world. Let's do what we were created to do, irregardless of what's going on externally around us. Because every single one of us is full of that secret sauce. But we can't dish it out to staff and students if all we're focusing on is what's going wrong. We need to focus on what's going right. And you can do that in your classroom today. You can do it in your school today. You can do it in your district today. And then start by doing it one day at a time. I love you guys. Let's break out of that burnout cycle. And let's start being positive and making a difference every single day in what we do. Love you. Till next time. And we appreciate you listening to our podcast. Let's connect and impact lives together. Leave me a comment on this episode or find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at The Secret Sauce with Kip Schubert. We would be honored if you would share this episode on your social media. Continue to share your story. It matters. Reach back over that mountain. Every educator, every student needs to feel loved, heard, and valued. So dish out that secret sauce and be that Sherpa to guide others to the summit. Till next time, let's stay all in and all together.